Welcome, Greek U Nation, to episode number 534 of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Mike Ailon, CEO of Greek University. I'm a speaker and an author. Our sixth book just came out. It's called I'm So Beautiful, It's Ridiculous, Unleashing and Promoting Strength, Self-Worth, and Real Sisterhood. So go and pick up that book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble today. We call these episodes the Fraternity Foodie Podcast because there is nothing like great food to bring college students together. Fun fact, I cannot sing at all. I was in the choir in seventh and eighth grade only because we didn't have a band in this private school that I went to. There was no musical instruments, there was nothing. There was a basketball team, and my basketball career was quickly going down the toilet because the starting team was all over 6 feet tall. They all had fully developed muscles and beards in the seventh grade, and this was just not me. I was like such a late bloomer. You have no idea. So I do have great appreciation though for musical artists, and that is exactly what we have on the show with us today. Maya Azucena is an award-winning singer, a recording artist, and a humanitarian known for her versatile voice, which adapts to multiple genres and sports a soulful 4-octave range. Hello. She is a cultural ambassador with a focus on women's and youth empowerment and domestic sexual violence, who has completed over 12 humanitarian tours sponsored by American embassies and U.S. State Department to countries such as China, Tanzania, Suriname, India, Sri Lanka, Haiti, and Turkey. As a full-time touring artist, she has traveled under her artist name, it's Maya Azucena, and with her band to over 40 countries. Diverse worldwide collaborations as well, including artists such as rock band Brass Against, guitar legend Vernon Reid from Living Colour, jazz greats Marcus Miller, Jason Miles, soulful house producers DJ Spinna, DJ Logic, all pop group Fitz and the Tantrums, international icons such as Croatian superstar Gibonni, and countless underground hip hop artists such as Immortal Technique. Welcome to the show, Maya.
Hello. I need to save that incredible intro and just roll it out everywhere I go, just on a little loudspeaker coming out of my car.
Listen, I tell you what, Maya, if you want to pack me up in your suitcase and just take me all over the world with you, I'm totally cool with that. I don't even need a seat on the plane.
Oh, really? Okay. Beware, be careful what you ask for.
I will totally do the intros. I got no problem with that. Everyone says that I have a radio voice. It's probably because this face is just not meant for television. You know what I'm
Ah, wah, wah, wah. No, not at all. All the way around package.
saying? I appreciate that. Now you're feeding my ego, so I appreciate that. So, I want to tell our audience a little bit more about you, but I always like to start with college because I feel like it's just a really transformative time. And for you, it's just so interesting because you decided to go to Swarthmore College, but then ultimately you ended up leaving. So, why did you decide on Swarthmore? And then why did you just pick up and jet?
Okay, so I really wanted, I'm a born and raised Brooklyn girl, New York, and being a New Yorker, the intensity and the pace, the high speed, and you know, you feel like this what you're trying always to tame a wild stallion. And then when you finally think you wake up the next morning and it's a totally new stallion, like that's New York.
Mhm.
And it burns people out, including me. And even back in high school, I had a very busy schedule. Always knew I wanted to be an artist prior to high school, like from a childhood. And this means my high school, during high school, I was getting conservatory level training for opera. And I was also auditioning for movies and television and acting in plays and things like this. And I selected Swarthmore because I really needed a change. I needed to get out of the city. I just wanted this experience. And I really loved Swarthmore. I quickly got involved in a million things. I was running track. I was breaking records in running track. I played rugby. I mean, full tackle rugby. I was in the acting department, all of this. Um, and of course, it's an amazing school for its academic reputation.
Mm.
I was in an acting class, and the teacher said something along the lines of, one day when you become actors, and I can't explain it, but that rubbed me the wrong way because prior to arriving, I was already living the life like of the artist,
Mm.
auditioning and already doing things, activating my career. And so because I knew that I am an artist and I knew for sure that that was the path I was going to take, I took the risk to leave Swarthmore to continue the career I had already started. So I kind of looked at it like, a degree doesn't make an actor a successful actor. Being in the game makes an actor a successful actor. At that time, I was interested in both acting and music.
Mm-hmm.
So that was how I made that decision. Looking back on it, when I'm being young, time felt so epic. 4 whole years or even 2 whole years. Like, how am I gonna do it? So looking back on it, I chose the hard route because my intelligence is no less. However, without the degree, it made it harder to do any kind of secondary jobs that I wanted to take or that were on my level.
Mm-hmm.
And so looking back, I'm sure it would not have harmed me to stay and get the degree, a Swarthmore degree.
Mm-hmm.
And my asking price and for things would have been, on the level that I deserve. Instead, I went the long route, which has been my story, the long and scenic, Waze app route, never boring and never easy. I strongly believe that our ability to expand and learn, it never ends in or out of school. As long as you're capable of seeing yourself as a student, then you will grow indefinitely without fail for the rest of your life. So I had that attitude even at that young age that even outside of Swarthmore, I will continue to be educated and learn and expand. However, I cannot lie, having the degree itself would have been a benefit.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, you took the long and scenic route, but you made it. I mean, you are an award-winning singer, you're a recording artist, you're a humanitarian, you've got this killer voice. I mean, feel free to sing anytime you like, because you can sing the phone book. I mean, you really can. So I guess my question, there's a lot of people listening right now that would love to be a world-traveled, inspirational recording artist, touring with all of her own music and a featured lead singer, but they have no idea how that even happens. So how do you get to be that?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that everyone's journey really is unique. And I hope that doesn't sound cliche at this point, but it is so true. My story, each and every single accomplishment has its own backstory. So it's not like there's this one pathway in. You get in, in the very beginning, there was this sort of feeling like I have to be discovered.
Mm,
There's sort of like a prototypical path to success in the arts realm. You think you'll be discovered, then you'll get a huge deal. And once you get signed that deal, then you're going to make lots of money and someone else is going to manage all of your stuff and you just get to be awesome, right? That is, first of all, it's not like that. And so I started to shift from waiting to be discovered to what if I am a small business and just show up every day and work every day for my craft? If I show up and work for my craft every day like a business, then I can expect things out of the seeds I've planted. And so at the moment that I stopped waiting to be discovered, there was this huge transformation, really, where I became my own manager, my own booking agent, and I was so excited and inspired. And each opportunity that came to me was literally, I would say, relationship by relationship. So if you ask me, oh, how did you get on Essence Festival, one of the largest music festivals that happens yearly in New Orleans, on the same bill with Beyonce? Like, how did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that story is totally different for how I ended up on stage in front of 50,000 people in Macedonia with a rock star, Um, so the starting point definitely is to start. You have to stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to step into your calling, your destiny, your heart. You have to start exercising the action of the craft that you're interested in. You can't tell me, hey, I want to one day, I'm getting into singing. Nobody reacts to something like that. You have to say, I am a songwriter, I am a singer. You have to start practicing the actual thing. There has to be proof of concept. You have to manufacture things in the realm of what you are trying to do. If you say to me, I like writing songs, my question is, oh, cool, let me hear it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like, oh, well, then it's over in that point. So you understand this is where it's going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it goes to make yourself easy to be hired. Do you have a website? Do you have a bio? Do you have a way for people to literally reach you? You can't say, oh, I don't like interviews. That doesn't help you. And so these steps all lead towards making it possible for you to step into what you love, right?
That makes total sense. Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you 100%. Same thing is true for the speaking business. All of those things fit. What's interesting as I read your bio is that you're also this cultural ambassador who has a focus on women's and youth empowerment, as well as domestic and sexual violence. So I'm just wondering, why are you so passionate about these particular causes?
Okay. I think it's a two-part answer. The first part, I should explain what is a cultural ambassador, and
Hmm.
also the term that's used is cultural envoy. Essentially, in America, one of the things that they create an actual department, there's a cultural affairs department, which has budgets to send American culture out into the world.
Hmm.
And the way they facilitate that is through grants. So they'll select very interesting cultural projects, which could be a dance troupe, it could be a chef, it could be an author or a singer like myself. And then they'll provide a grant and send us to locations that do not have a lot of interaction with American culture. As a result, I've been to very unusual locations to tour, such as Sri Lanka, Honduras, Lesotho, which is in Southern Africa, Tanzania, Philippines, Burma, China. Okay. So they outsource American culture. And essentially, what that means is they book a tour.
Hmm.
And on that tour, I'll not only do concerts on major festival stages, I will also do national press in those countries. I also offer workshops as part of this program. And so throughout the course of giving workshops, they are asking me to provide like what I care about and what do I want to teach,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So some of the subjects that are important to me are women's empowerment, youth empowerment, and domestic and sexual violence is a subject that's very I know a lot about because unfortunately, I had a very abusive relationship. My first major relationship was a long one, and it was physically and sexually abusive. And in that time, I learned a lot about myself, but I also realized how I really wanted to use my story to offer strength to anyone who may be in the same circumstance I used to be in. Women and youth empowerment, it's just always been a passion for me, because I think sometimes we doubt our capacity to promote change in our own lives or to promote change in the world. We doubt our abilities and we underestimate our impact on the world around us. And I just simply love chances to remind people not to forget that you're here on purpose, that you're valuable, that your story matters, that your voice, unique voice, deserves to take up space. And I do it by example as a singer and as a speaker, but also I'd like to just simply say it.
Yeah. I mean, you have a huge platform because you are so recognized, because you are such a great singer. I feel like you have a big platform that you can use songwriting and other things in order to talk about these really important issues, domestic sexual violence, women's empowerment, etc. But if you're just a college student at Swarthmore, right? How do these college students make an impact in stopping domestic or sexual violence?
Well, in that particular subject,
Hmm.
well, our college age students are the future, literally. It's not a cool term, it is the truth. They are literally the next wave. They are the leaders. They're the next leaders, right?
Hmm.
If in college we start to own that, then we can start to think about how we want to see ourselves in the world. We're entering the work marketplace at that point. You're entering the world at large. This is the point at which you need to see yourself as the future governor or the future doctor or scientist or whomever, because you're the rollout that's going to change the future,
Yeah.
right? Now, starting with domestic and sexual violence, there's two things that I will point out. I think for women who may be suffering from it, who may be inside of it, my recommendation is to identify at least two people that you truly trust, that you know love you, and start to share. Because I would say that the reason I stayed for as long as I did in an impossible relationship is because I kept it an utter secret.
Mhm.
Nobody would know that somebody was choking me or cutting me with knives. Nobody. Nobody knew for years after. So I went the long route. Once again, I don't know why I always choose this. If you are inside of it, if there has to be someone, one or two people that you can speak to privately and start to talk, because we lose perspective inside of abusive relationships. It's a cult of two. What happens with cults is they isolate you from people that love you, who would give you a reasonable, rational voice to give you perspective. And that happens in abusive relationships. Now, if you are a male that wants to support those who are dealing with domestic and sexual violence,
Mhm.
first of all, if you let the women that you care about, they don't have to be those you have a sexual energy with or whatever, just people you see as like your sisters. Like, let them know that you're there for them. Let them know that, hey, if you ever need to talk, I'm here for you. There is, people believe that sexual violence is a women's issue, and this is a big part of the problem. It's an everybody issue. And can I give you a little quick story?
Sure, go. Yeah.
Okay, I'm taking it out of the world of America and colleges. I was in Tanzania in East Africa, in a little town, and I was brought there to sing as part of a benefit. And while I was there, somebody says, hey, the local girl, we found out this local girl, like 7-year-old girl, was raped by her neighbor. And a woman was telling me this. And she said that the mom kind of found out, and the man, this is a neighbor, said to the daughter and to the mother, if you tell anyone, I'll kill you. So this woman admitted it to females, but to no men in the community. Why do I share this story? I believe that if all the men in that community made that person feel, see, this person had the sense that the predator has the confidence that no one will defend these young ladies. This confidence and arrogance comes from the fact that there is no male figures showing up that makes him feel like I shouldn't do that. If the men in the community made like a pact, like if any of you touch our women, there's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. I'm going to guarantee you something. He wouldn't be walking around telling a little sweet lady and her 7-year-old, I'll kill you. He would have fear. Mm-hmm. So we all need to show up. Do you agree with me?
I understand completely what you're saying.
Can you imagine?
Listen, I agree with you wholeheartedly. When I do talk on college campuses about sexual assault prevention, I like to do it with both the men and the women because I agree with you. I think this is a societal issue that we're all involved in. We also know that assailants could either be male or female. It happens in relationships with the same sex as well. So, you know what I mean? So it's like this is an everybody problem. It's not just a women's problem. This is a problem that we as a society can help work on together. And it's about talking and teaching about bystander intervention. What do we do when we see, a couple who are both clearly intoxicated going up to the second floor of the house where we all know there are bedrooms and they're both like falling over drunk, right? What are we going to do watching this in the living room? What are we going to do? Are we going to step in or are we just going to say, that's their problem. They're going to have to deal with it. But also talking about consent and teaching consent and what does that sound like in real life, right? How do I ask for consent? Mm-hmm. So I think teaching all of these skills, then we can start to reduce sexual violence, domestic violence, all of those things. But I agree with you. I think it starts, let's say if we're taking it now back into college, back into a fraternity setting, we as men should be talking about what are we going to do when this situation occurs and actually role playing that as men and how we're going to diffuse the situation, right? And I think if we do that in advance, knowing full well that that's going to happen next Saturday night, right? Before it even happens, that's how we're going to make a difference.
I love it. I love it. And it's so important. One of the things that has always disturbed me, because I grew up with all boys too. Mm-hmm. So I never had like a us against them feeling about being around, males, right? Like I never was like, boys are shit or, like that, It's like this, us against them. It also engenders this anger and this distance and sort of like, listen to me. 95% of the males in the world are not rapists. They're not out to get you. They're the dads and the brothers that would not want something to happen to their own sister or their mom, right? Absolutely. So it's like, I take that into account. And when you're having a conversation, trying not to attack it in a gender way of like, well, if the men would only do this and if the women would, and that division makes nobody want to listen to the solutions, which are actually not impossible solutions. Mm-hmm. There are some selfish people who don't care what's right or wrong that exist. But the rest of us, we are the forces between those people.
That's right. That's right. And we're more in number as well. So I absolutely agree with you. I think we can make a big impact on college campuses or anywhere in the world. I'm kind of jealous too because I like to travel also, and I spent some time in Jamaica. And if you ever go to Jamaica, I'll tell you that Bob Marley is playing at every restaurant. I mean, everywhere you go, you will hear his voice, which is so great and so soothing for me. But you received a Grammy certificate for your duet feature with Stephen Marley, who is Bob Marley's son, by the way, on his album. It's called Mind Control. You won the Grammy, that won the Grammy for Best Reggae Album album in 2008. And then you reunited with Stephen in 2022 on Mr. Bojangles, which is a song recorded as part of Celebrating Nina, a reggae tribute to Nina Simone. So, what is it like working with the son of a legit legend?
Wow, I mean, I will definitely say it is was very magical in so many ways. So I'll give you a couple of short stories to
Mm,
give you the perspective. But before I even tell you this, the Marleys really are royalty in Jamaica
mhm,
and for Jamaicans. And I'm not exaggerating, like royalty.
mhm,
So even the way they operate and the way that their staff is around them or people that are devoted to them, it's very much like a royalty structure of respect. And I find them to be very respectful, by the way. So I don't find there to be a sense of arrogance or anything undeserving in it either, to be honest. So when I was invited to record with Stephen, I'd love to share when he flew me to Kingston, Jamaica to work on the Nina Simone project. Actually, we recorded it many years before it was released. And he brought me to Kingston, and every day I went to Hope Road to the actual house where Bob Marley's house,
mhm.
the actual house.
Yeah, the real house. Yeah.
And we'd sit around and I would hang out with the ladies. The men would play soccer and then things would wind down and then we would begin to record. And when I recorded the vocals for Mr. Bojangles, I also recorded about 5 other unreleased songs. Who knows what's ever going to happen with them? And what we did was he set up the microphone in like the living room of Bob Marley's house with these wooden shutters just open,
Mhm.
and it was a full moon outside, and left all the doors open, and all of these Rastas who were hanging out, just part of the family and friends, hanging out, like kind of just leaning on the door, sitting on the steps, looking from the outside in, like smoking a little thing. And so as I'm singing, I'm getting real time affirmation of like if it's in the vibe. Because if you're performing for real tried and true Jamaican Rastas, like they don't mince words, they don't pretend. If they don't like something, you know it.
Mhm.
And so it was a huge privilege to know, like even before it was ever finalized, that it could reach the ears of the most highly trained, Marley lovers. Uh, and I felt like it was all happening almost in slow motion. It was around my birthday at the time, and some other point during that trip. I was in another room inside of Bob Marley's house, and Rita Marley was sitting with me, going over harmonies, singing harmonies with me on Nina Simone songs.
That's wild.
It was just like this huge sensation of the baton, being passed to the next generation. It just had this whole beautiful energy. It was so important for me because I'm an independent artist and I don't always get affirmations about like this path that I'm on. When you choose a unique path, these types of moments, these magical moments, just assure you that keep going, you've got this, you're in the right place.
Wow, that's just an incredible story. I just get chills thinking about that. So I can only imagine how special that was for you and something you're going to remember clearly for the rest of your life. There's no question about that. I was checking out your website and I saw that you offer these master classes, and I was really interested in it. You have one, it's called I Am Enough. And this is a master class that you offer. It talks about reconnecting to your authentic self It talks about happiness, success, and soul purpose. Now, I think this is just incredible. And I think that our students need to understand how you're able to just clear all of the obstacles in your life and then manifest successfully in your own personal and professional life. You've been able to do this over and over again, but you have to unlock that for other people. So, how do they do that?
Correct. Yes. So, well, first of all, during my own journey, I have had to justify to myself, for example, why am I suffering right now? Or why does this hurt right now? Or how do I get from here to there? How do I not give up? How do I, just all the myriad of things that we navigate while making a dream come to life. And as I had to reflect and justify to myself why I'm doing this, I came up with all these metaphors and different tools and sayings and quotes that I use for myself, and they helped me a lot. And so from there, I started to offer them to people that I care about. I'm the counselor of all my friends. and and also in my in various master classes or keynote speeches. But what's new about the I Am Enough master class is I've collected all of them into one intensive. So for a person who's on their journey, transitioning into the workforce, or who's navigating experiences of self-judgment, or who wants to understand how to connect authentically with other people. We live in this digital age where so many things are very two-dimensional and surface. And then when it comes to the in-person, really getting people to tune into you, or for you to sense other people, or energy, all of these types of things, I've gone through all of them, and they're all sitting in like one cohesive place. So people can take this whole course with me and not only learn my story, because I integrate my own stories, but also easy to hold lessons, easy to hold, easy to remember.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. I love that you offer that. I think that's an incredible resource for our college students to go and check out. Now, I love really good food, and I sense that you do too. I have this feeling that you like really good food as well. And I was born in New York City, so I'm a Mount Sinai guy, and I need to know the next time that I'm in New York City and I go back to visit my family, I need to know where I should be going for a great meal these days in Brooklyn, New York. So where should I be going for a great bite to eat?
Oh, you said Brooklyn. That's where you got me.
I
I
mean, we
was
could do
gonna
New York City too. I'm open to Manhattan. I don't have anything against it.
All right. Well, this is what I was thinking, and this is cool for college kids too.
Yeah.
I've been traveling a lot, and I also was living overseas for almost the last 7 years, much of the last 7 years.
Mhm.
This is going to sound hilarious to some, but to others not. There is absolutely no good Chinese food in certain parts of the world.
Correct.
I mean, for real.
Yeah.
And in New York, we have an actual Chinatown.
Chinatown.
Legit, like
Yeah.
you did, like you left America and went to China and ate Chinese. It is in New York City.
Yes.
And all around the US, this is not something that's easily accessible. Certain places, but not everywhere.
Mm.
But New York City, there's a Chinatown in downtown. You can take the train to Canal Street and you walk, and almost any of the places that have Chinese lettering on them, you go in and you get a legitimate tasting Chinese food at a really reasonable price.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I just don't overlook that anymore, because when I was overseas and craving it, it
Couldn't
was
find
nowhere to be found.
it. I understand completely. You don't even need to go overseas. I mean, I live in Nashville, and in Nashville, there is no good Chinese food. And I know what good Chinese food is because I've eaten at the same restaurants that you've eaten at on Canal Street. So I know what's real and I know what's an imposter. And I
Yeah.
can't find that kind of food anywhere. So you're absolutely right. Also, same thing with pizza and bagels. They just don't make them anywhere else on the planet like they do in New York City. I mean, we know,
Bagels,
we know
bagels for sure.
for
Other
sure.
All right, can I ask you, in any of your travels other than New York,
Uh-huh.
is there a place to get a bagel?
No, no, no. It's just
That's
New York.
crazy.
I mean, that's it. They just know how to make it where it's kind of crispy on the outside a little bit, but super doughy on the inside, and it's as big as your head. And you can make a breakfast sandwich that will, good night. I mean, it will just put you out.
Okay, so I know that these, but for college students, actually, they're really good recommendations because they're cost effective to
Right.
try.
Sure.
But yes, you've never had a bagel if you didn't try one in New York, and there are great ones in Brooklyn, of
There
course,
are good ones in Brooklyn.
and Chinese food from an actual Chinatown.
Yes, I'm with you. I think those are great recommendations and very cost effective. You don't have to spend a lot in order to get what we're talking about. I mean, really, you really don't. So those are great recommendations. All right. So if our college student listeners, if they want to bring you in either as a speaker, a singer, whatever, because you do everything on their college
I'm
campus.
every woman,
Oh my
it's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, I do it naturally. All right, I forgot to sing to you.
Oh my gosh. So you even threw in the song because that is just killer right there. I can listen to that all day long. You could sing, I mean, don't even speak, just sing everything, and I would be just in heaven. So if they want to bring you in as a speaker, a singer, and all of the above, where should they go to connect with you?
So, hey, what's up, everybody? So, once again, I'm so thankful to be on this program, and I'm so glad that you've been tuning in. Please just reach me directly. My name, Maya, second name, Azucena, Maya Azucena. So, if you want to email me, it's Maya at mayaazucena.com. If you want to find my website, it's mayaazucena.com. If you want to find my Instagram, where I'm most active on social media, it is, guess what? Maya Azucena. So backslash, just throw Maya Azucena into Google and you can find me. And I do manage my own accounts. So I'd be really pleased to connect with you.
That is fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for singing because you just made my day. And to our listeners, hopefully you enjoyed this as well. I want you to like this. I want you to share this with other college students because we need Maya on every college campus in the country. She's got so much wisdom to share, and that voice is just killer. I mean, good night. So thank you so much, Maya, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Dr. Michael, it was sincerely my pleasure. I'm so happy that we made this happen.
Absolutely. And I look forward to seeing you in New York City for some Chinese food. We'll meet on Canal Street. I will see you there. And I'm buying, okay? Uh,
Uh, I'll hold you to that. I'm gonna hold you to
that's
that.
cool. That's totally fine with me. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you to our audience. We'll see you on the next episode of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.